Hey guys, this is a video which tracks with the last Zoom we did about translating sentences from English to Latin. I'm looking at page 112 and I'm looking at exercise D, number 1. It says the farmer's daughter was waiting for her mother on the bridge. What we're doing is kind of the reverse from translating from Latin to English, as we talked about before, but the process is not all that different. There are a few little tricks and things that you need to remember. So the first thing to do, I would say, the farmer's daughter was waiting for her mother on the bridge, is to see if you can spot the verb. Sometimes verbs are simple, so if you say the fish swims, then the verb is swims. And it's oftentimes, if you have a good feeling for what a verb is, you can often find at least the core word, the central meaning of the verb, but it's finding the whole verb that you need to worry about. So the fish swims, that's simple present, easy enough. Swims is the verb. But we can make that progressive present, right? And if we want to do that in English, it would be the fish is swimming. So is swimming would tell you that it's progressive present. Latin doesn't have a progressive present. It's simpler than English. So you would just use the present tense. All right, what about has been swimming? Well, there the verb is has been swimming. It's got 3 pieces. Will have been swimming. That's future perfect, and that's got will have been swimming 4 pieces, right? If you used a transitive verb, a verb that can take a direct object, so let's say you use the verb read, you could say that a book will have been being read, will have been being read. So now you got 5 pieces there. So you got to have a feel for all the auxiliaries that might be joined to the verb and how that affects things. So most of the time what you're going to see is that the auxiliaries will help to tell you either the tense of the verb or the voice of the verb or both, right? So if I say he has been showing, right? Then that's active and it's also perfect because the has been shows you has been and have been shows you perfect. So he has been showing or he has shown, either one of those are perfect active. But if you say it has been being shown, right, or it has been shown rather than showing, well, then if you think about it, that's got to be passive rather than active because the thing is being shown, it's not showing something, right? It's happening to the subject rather than the subject doing it. So then that's the difference between active and passive. So the first step is finding the whole verb, the verb group, if you like, the verb and all its auxiliaries, because when you're translating it into Latin, you're going to have to understand your tense and your voice from that. Okay, so was waiting, that in English is simple progressive, it's progressive past, right? So he waited would be simple past. He was waiting would be progressive past. So you're going to have to pick a past tense. And the thing to remember in this sentence, although it's not going to be the case in every sentence, is that Latin has 2 different past tenses. It has imperfect and perfect. So if somebody was waiting, if you have a progressive tense, that generally means it's going on over a period of time. So your best bet is going to be imperfect. But if you chose perfect, there wouldn't be anything wrong with this. Now, so far it looks like our verb is was waiting. So suppose I don't know how to say wait in Latin. What I'm going to do is I'm going to look it up in my glossary, my English to Latin glossary. There's one of those in the back of the book in case you haven't noticed it. And on page 513, you're going to find, you're not going to find wait. You're going to find wait for, okay? So the point is we expected that the verb was wait, was waiting, but actually for, which is a preposition in English, is part of the verb in Latin. So to wait for is expecto, expectare, expectavi, expectatum. So if you wanted to say was waiting for, you would have to use the imperfect of expecto. Okay, so the next thing to do before you start translating is figure out your subject. Because remember, sometimes the subject is just a pronoun in the verb. So in this case, we don't know, right? Because was waiting for doesn't tell us who was waiting for. So we have to look around for a subject. Now in English, it might say he was waiting for. If it said he was waiting for, then you would know that you just got the pronoun stuck in the end of the verb, right? So that would be expectabat, right? It's going to be likely expectabat anyway, but we have to see if there's a noun subject here. Okay, so the farmer's daughter was waiting for her mother on the bridge. So who is it that's, don't get confused. We've got farmer's daughter, and these two words are tangled up. And you know the farmer's daughter is doing the waiting, so the farmer's daughter is the subject, but which of those two words is the heart of the subject, the primary subject itself? Is it the farmer or the daughter? Well, you can flip it around. Instead of saying the farmer's daughter was waiting, you can say the daughter of the farmer was waiting, or you can just, and then you realize that the subject, the primary subject, is daughter. But you can just think about it a little bit. If you think about it, is it the farmer that's doing the waiting or the daughter that's doing the waiting? If you ask yourself that, then you kind of can figure out that it's the daughter, right? So the daughter was waiting. We had she was waiting, not he was waiting, right? Because it's he, she, or it. So that was expectabat. Now we want to say the daughter was waiting. That's philia expectabat. Okay, there's not going to be a direct object here if we were saying was waiting, because waiting doesn't take a direct object, but this is waiting for, right? So again, this is a little bit tricky because we're dealing with a verb that means waiting for rather than waiting. So who is she waiting for? Who is she awaiting, to use old-fashioned English? That tells you what the direct object is, okay? The mother. So remember, the direct object goes in the accusative case, and this is singular. So if you forgot how to say mother, it's mater matris. So the word is in Emily's ear. That's how you do your singulars. Mater, matris, matri, matrem. All of this is in the back of the book. Just find the paradigm. So it's matrem, right? So she was waiting for her mother. Now there is a way to say her mother, but we haven't gotten to that yet. So really all that I think they want you to say is the mother, and then you know that it's her mother. In Latin anyway, it sounds perfectly good. So you say the daughter, philia, expectabat, was waiting for matrem, the mother. The daughter was waiting for the mother. Now what about the farmer's daughter? Well, farmers is a possessive, and another way to say that is the daughter of the farmer. Once you change farmer's daughter to daughter of the farmer, then you may remember that of means genitive. It's a little sign that you're going to use the genitive case. You're not going to use a preposition like of as we do in English. So the genitive, we need the genitive form, the genitive singular form of farmer, because this is the daughter of a farmer, not a daughter of a bunch of farmers, as you can see. So the daughter of the farmer. So that would be philia, okay, agricola, agricolae. So agricolae, philia, or philia agricolae, either one. Expectabat matrem. All right, now on the bridge. For all of these sentences, one thing that you're going to look for is prepositional phrases, because there's bunches of them. And remember how prepositions work? All prepositions in Latin are going to take either ablative or accusative. And the way to say on, confusingly, is the same way to say in. So in this case, most prepositions just take either ablative or accusative. In is a confusing one, because in will take accusative if you're going into or onto something. And it will take the ablative if you're just standing still. So if you're waiting for someone on the bridge, then you're standing still. There's no motion towards. So in is going to take the ablative rather than the accusative case. How do you say bridge? Pons pontis. Okay? So pons pontis, third declension. Pons, pontis, ponti, pontem, ponte. There's the ablative that we want. Okay? So, anyway, we're looking for the ablative form of pons pontis. So This is not neuter, so we don't have to worry about neuter I stems, which would give you an I instead of an E. So pons, pontis, ponti, pontem, ponte. So in ponte. That's the whole sentence. Okay. So what's our sentence again? Filia agricolae or agricolae filia, either one. That's the farmer's daughter. Expectabat was waiting for her mother, meaning just mother. Matrem on the bridge in ponte. So that's how you work out the whole thing. And look, if you're getting things wrong, that's fine. The basic thing that you need to be able to do is grapple with the structure of a sentence and see what kinds of questions you ask. So if you have no idea what you're doing, that's the first step. Break it down. Find your verb, find your subject, find your direct object, find prepositional phrases. And then there are going to be other things too, like dative and ablatives to throw into the mix. There are going to be adjectives and adverbs which will attach to things in various ways. But that's the core. Find your verb, find your subject, find your direct object if you have one. You don't always have one, especially in passives. But anyway, good. Hope this is useful to you. God bless.